And we're joined by head coach of the Trenton Devils, Kevin Dean. The Devils in Florida for a pair of games. Second time the team has been here since the Kelly Cup Championship back in 2005, so Devils and Titans fans will have a lot of fond memories of this place. For you, it's brand new, but welcome to Florida. Nice weather, huh?
Oh, it's great weather. It's great weather. I don't know if it'd be tough to play down here with the focus and everything, but yeah, it's a beautiful area.
And the team down here for 2 games as opposed to last year when there were 3 games. The team seemed like they were here for a week in January. But before we get to this game and tomorrow's game, let's talk about last week. You guys won 1 game out of 3, and the most recent was against Elmira. You guys lost 7-2. It seemed like a number of the things that you had done well the night before against Reading just were not there at all against Elmira.
Yeah, I don't know if we laid so much left so much on the ice in Reading that we didn't have the focus, and I still thought we competed hard and everything, but we just made some really dumb mistakes that we try to stay away from, and it cost us the game basically.
And it goes to show that if you're not at 100% focus throughout 60 minutes, just one slip here, one slip there, all of a sudden the good opponent, can score 7 goals just like that, even though you might play well, say, 50 out of 60 minutes. Those 10 minutes can absolutely destroy you.
And that's what happened. I went back and I watched the film probably 1.5 times, and we had a bad start. They scored 1 goal, and then we started taking the game over in the first half of the second period. And then they scored another goal, just a dumb mistake, and then from that point on, we scored a goal. We had the momentum going at the end of the first period. I thought, here we go. And then they came out and they scored, 3 or 4 goals, 4 or 5 goals in the second period. And, they were just mistakes we made. They weren't, great plays. I mean, they executed their plays great, but they were just silly things that we did. And, at that point, you're not going to come back.
And I'm not asking you to call out anyone in particular, but do you see that there are certain players that are consistently doing the right things and other guys that maybe aren't at 100% of the time?
Yeah, for sure. And, you talk to those players, you show them. I showed some video yesterday in the airport and the day before the game, and without being negative, because, it's mostly the young kids. They don't understand the urgency and how quickly things can happen and can go against you and get away from you if you're not focused for 60 minutes.
And we also talk about the number of shots on goal, the shots against, the number of opportunities that your goaltenders are forced to make saves. And Jeff Lerg, who's playing a couple games and a couple nights for the first time this year, was asked to make some good saves and did make some good saves against Reading. And maybe not as good a performance on Saturday?
Yeah, but he didn't have, maybe 1 or 2 of those out of the 7 he didn't have a chance on. But, he did, had a tough break in the one he came out for. But, they made tic-tac-toe plays, backdoor. He didn't have many, have any chance on probably 4 of those, and so certainly can't put it on him. He played great Friday. He played, I thought well enough early Saturday to give us a chance to win. And then, like I said, we only gave up maybe 25 shots that game, but at least 7 of them were good ones. So just can't do it.
And that was the startling thing, because you guys had given up 35, 40 some shots previously, and for once you guys didn't give up a lot of shots. The ones that you did give up ended up going in. The other aspect of the game against Elmira was the physicality. We saw some intense play up in Elmira a week earlier, and we saw some of that again, especially late. You guys are trying to respond perhaps to out of frustration. Ryan Hayes is a guy who you wouldn't expect to see dropping the gloves and so forth, especially with Turner, whom he did drop the gloves with. Your take on that side of things when we saw 3 skirmishes break out at once?
Well, the one thing I really like about our team is that we compete really hard. And, the game, we obviously weren't going to come back. It's 7-1, halfway through the third period. But we just all talked about it. It's just, play hard. Finish your checks, play hard. Don't develop bad habits. And, to our credit, we didn't. We played hard. We didn't, pack it in. And, there's some scrums started on clean hits but hard hits. Andy Thomas had a clean but hard hit in front of our bench, and Justin Pender finished the game with a clean but hard hit down in the corner. And, I can understand Elmira being frustrated with that. It's 7-1. They don't want to get run, but, that's hockey. And, hockey players, good athletes don't quit until the final whistle. And, you play the game the right way, you finish your checks, and that's basically what happened.
And specifically with Hayes, who was involved in that, and we had talked before the game about how he had made a good play to score a goal, but then made a poor play leading to a Reading goal the night before, and you thought he responded well to your conversation with him. And just to see him and not Vichorik or Pender, get into that sort of a scrimmage, what does that tell you about him?
Well, he's a team guy. He's a hockey player. He's a young kid. He makes mistakes, but he scores a lot of goals. He's got assets. He's got a great mind for the game. He's intelligent on the ice, and he understands how to play pro hockey. Andy Thomas comes out, makes a big hit. Two guys go to get him. He went in there and grabbed the biggest guy. That's what a good teammate does, and that was a great response for him.
And Pender and Berube were also there to help Hayes in the middle of that. And the last few minutes at least got the fans into it, so we'll talk about that come next time we play Elmira. But let's talk about some of the things that you guys have done as an organization in the last few days, trading Gord Burnett and also acquiring goaltender Mike Brown. Those two decisions, how they came about and how they impact the future.
Well, the goalie decision, Martin Berder's hurt. You read minimum 10 days, 2 weeks, and so that's Jeff's, basically a first-year player, Jeff Lerg, and we got a lot of games this week, and if we need to play somebody as good as Anthony Felice is, he's not a pro caliber goaltender at this time, so you got to get someone in here that if we have a need can play and play some minutes, so that's why we signed Mike Brown. And as far as Gord Burnett, Gord's a great guy. We got a lot of defensemen here, and 9. We had 9 before we traded them. And like we told Gord, some of these kids have, younger kids have really played well. It's not fair to him to hold him back. He's a good hockey player. He can definitely play in this league, and Victoria's lucky to be getting him. If Victoria had a need, they made a call. They just said, look, this is what we're looking for. Do you have anyone? And, we kind of looked down the road. Guys in Jersey, guys in Albany are going to get healthy. It's going to be tough for Gord to get in the lineup. As good a person as he is, and as good a hockey player he is, and teammate, best thing for Gord was to move him and give him an opportunity to play like he deserves.
And Chris Lamoriello echoing those sentiments and wishing Gord all the best, and certainly we wish Gord the very best. And exciting for him at the very least to get 2 goals in 2 games while he was active this year, so that was fun.
Yeah, we'll see if he can keep his shooting percentage up at .667. If he can, then he's done a nice job.
Yeah, well, and let's also talk about what you're dealt with now. Dave Caruso's uncertainty, so Jeff Lerg is in there. With what you've seen from him so far, any particular improvements that you think Jeff can make?
No, I just, he's a very aggressive goalie, which I like. He's smart and he's athletic, and what I like most is he competes. He competes really, really hard, and that's a great quality to have. I haven't seen him enough to say he's got a weakness anywhere. You know what I mean? He's been under some pressure in some of the games he's come in. He's seen a lot of shots, but he's held up well. So I wouldn't want to say, you need to do this or this. I'm not a goalie coach. Hopefully we'll get someone in and take a look at him here at some point and help him make the improvements they think he needs to make.
And just with he starting now, it'll be his 3rd game in a row. A little bit of time. I mean, you've got a couple of days off, not exactly a 3-3, but does that play in at all with playing, perhaps tomorrow, perhaps again Friday? All of a sudden, maybe a lot of games for Jeff? Yeah,
and that's why we addressed the goalie situation with Mike Brown. Mike's 6-2, I think, in this league. The little bit he's played here, and he's off to a good start, I think, down in Mississippi where he is. So, if Jeff starts to look tired, maybe he sees 50 shots tonight and we win 4-3 and he's tired, maybe we got to come back with Mike tomorrow. We just got to keep an eye on Jeff and see, keep him, be fair to him, put him in situations where he can succeed, and not leave him blown and, hanging in the wind out there. So that's why we got a capable backup, to jump in if we need him.
Take on the Everblades tonight and tomorrow, turn around right before Thanksgiving with a team that's about 500. They've played a lot more games than you. They're 9-8. They have another new coach, as Trenton is experiencing, and they've also got a sort of an up 1 game, down 1 game sort of a flow. Try to take advantage of that, obviously, on home ice. So how do you guys achieve that even keel that you've been searching for?
Well, we're going to go back and try to, we talked about it here just a few minutes ago in our meeting, is to try to go back to the Reading game and just not take anything for granted, win all our one-on-one battles, get all the pucks out in the dangerous areas, clog up the neutral zone and stop in our spots in our defense. Just play a real simple road game. Doesn't have to be spicy or anything like that. Just got to be a real solid game, and just make sure we get take advantage of the chances we get without opening up the game.
As you guys will play 2 games and 2 nights here before a quick flight. And again, the first real long road trip, you've got a flight, you're in the same place. Does that help bring a team together? It's still, the first month or so of the season.
Yeah, I think it certainly doesn't hurt. I wish we had 1 day down here in between games or something like that. I think that would help even more. But, yeah, anytime you get on the road and you're in the hotel and,